I'm gonna have to repeat this like later because my phone's about to shut off. But basically, my mom came by for like 10 minutes to drop off like basically like laxatives because I had a hard time going to the bathroom, and left. And that was it. And it's because like my grandpa needed her, I guess. And I'm gonna put air quotes like needed her because he's had these problems for a long time. And they had told me how I wasn't supposed to like drive for a couple days after surgery and everything. And my mom had told me how she was gonna take me to like my doctor's appointments after the surgery, because like you go in, you know, pretty quickly after your surgery, and they tell you to have someone drive you because, you know, you can't really move your neck, and, you know, people are different. No, she couldn't do it because she had other things going on. No one could drive me. So I just had to do it myself, and I felt fine. You know, I was fine. That's the thing. Like, you deal with what you gotta deal with, and, you know, I'm not trying to be a baby, but, like, I'm just trying to prove my point that, like, it's not like my mom has been there wiping my ass or, like, and anytime I talk to her on the phone, even when, like, the first few days after surgery where I was, like, my voice was, like, gone and everything, I didn't really talk to her that much. And it was more like, yeah, go, you'll be fine. Okay, thanks for all your love and support, Mom. That's, like, how it felt, you know, just, like, okay, like, just wasn't as validated. So then I told her, I said, you know, even when I have radiation, you're telling me that you wanted me to move my radiation date. For what reason? Like, what is your reason? Like, so you can be in the same state? Like, why? What would be the point of me if I could, and I had the option to start radiation for the following week when you come back? What would be the point? And she goes, well, I would be here. I'm like physically, like, you would be there to help me? Or do you mean, like, just, like, within the state of Illinois, like? And she goes, yeah, you're right. I can't be there for you. So I'm like, that's my point. You are asking me, and it hurts, like, to me it almost, and I know she doesn't mean it this way, but it's like I can't help but wonder subconsciously. It's like I'm not validated, and maybe, like, she doesn't think, it's almost like, so in my mind, it's like I feel like, oh, Savannah, since you have cancer and you can start killing it and totally get rid of it and nuke it, but can you hold off on getting better because I want to be in the same state as you, but yet I'm not going to be there for you. It's just, to me, it's just very, like, fucked up. I just, like, there's no point in me not getting a treatment that my doctor is recommending. And holding it off because my mom feels guilty that she's not around, but then won't be around anyway. Like who? It's just very, like, whatever. And so I've been doing this, like, internship with the school, and I normally don't ask favors. My mom lives 1 mile away, by the way. 1 mile from my house. And it was one of those days where I had to like run, and I had to be at an internship all day, and I had like a lot of things like I had to do. And so I had asked her, I just said, hey, would you mind letting my dogs outside? Just, you don't have to like walk them, just like let them out and then bring them back in because they have to go to the bathroom, and I'm not going to be home all day. And normally this never happens. Like, I'm home and the dogs are always like, you know, they have a human around basically. So then my mom yesterday, as an argument, goes, well, I drove 24 miles out of my way to let your dogs out. I said, how do you get 24 miles when you live a mile away? She was like, well, I was taking care of your grandpa, and I drove him all around, and then when I came home, I had to go to your house first to let your dogs out. I'm like, Mom, first of all, if you couldn't let the dogs out, it wouldn't have been the end of the world to have told me, sorry, Savannah, I can't let your dogs out because I'm with your grandfather taking him to his appointments. But why? But I'm like, but you can't sit there and tell me that you went 24 miles out of your way when you live a mile away from my house. And it's on the way from like where she was coming from. Like, you literally passed my house to like get to your house. So like, if anything, you can have 2 miles, but it's just like, I just don't understand. And it's like our communication is just so off, and I'm getting more and more offended by it. And it's just like, I can't help but feel a little like sorry for myself in that way, or like just feel like less validated because of like my mom. And then everyone's like, oh, you're so lucky, you have such a great support system. Well, my support system kind of consists of like me, myself, and I, and then my husband acts like a giant baby whenever I tell him like what's going on, like the next steps. He gets all upset, which is valid. He's allowed to feel upset that his wife is sick. And when I'm having a bad day and I'm crying because I'm overwhelmed emotionally, my hormones are gone, I just, it's a lot, then he gets pissy and like wants to like throw a chair basically, or get upset and not talk. It's just like, this thyroid thing has become a lot more complicated than I ever thought it would. And not that my husband's a bad guy or anything, and I get it, like, it's hard for him too. It's hard on, he's got a lot of stuff on his plate, and I don't really mean like he throws chairs, but it's like my husband's great. He supports me in like my decisions that I do, but my husband is not good in terms of like, he doesn't have that like, I'm crying and I'm telling him like, listen, I'm crying and I'm upset. I feel like, I'm lack of sleep. And I'm having a hard time sleeping at night too. I'm having a hard time sleeping. I just don't feel well. Like, I just feel so off. Like, that's the biggest thing about like not having hormones for like 3 weeks, basically. Like, I just feel so not like myself. Like, I feel like a different person. And, it's kind of like going through second puberty. Remember those days, ladies, where it's like you get mad and you want to cry and you want to yell and the world sucks sometimes. And then sometimes you're like super happy and everything's good. That's kind of how it feels like with this whole thyroid thing. And then it's like my husband just acts like a baby deer in like headlights and doesn't know what to do. I'm like, all I need you to do is just hug me and tell me everything's okay. Take a shower. Let's relax. We're going to go lay down. Let's watch a movie. Like, distract me. Like, do what I would do to you when you're having a bad day. Hey, baby, everything's going to be okay. You're allowed to cry. Go cry it out, girlfriend. Like, you got to do what you got to do. Let's cry together. Let's go take a shower. Hey, let me rub your shoulders. it's like the distractions is what I want, and that's how I thrive. But you see, I've always been like the strong one in everything I've done. It's like I've always been the one that picks up the pieces when they're broken. So if my husband's having a bad day, I go into that mommy mojo mode where it's like, come here, baby, it's all good. Like, I'm here, I got you. Do you want, can I get you a snack? Do you want something warm to drink? Let's like relax. Like, you have so much good things. Like, I just, you start talking and you start doing, and my husband just sits there like and it's just like, that makes me even more mad. Like, I don't care if you say the wrong thing or it's something I don't want to hear, but just do something and don't just stare at me, because like I already feel like I'm losing my mind crazy. So, and I know this is not the most positive video, but it's just, I guess the conclusion of this whole thing is I feel kind of alone. I feel like thyroid cancer is definitely undervalued, and it's it's just underplayed. Like, people just kind of like, oh, it's the cancer you want. No, like, I don't want cancer. This is not something I asked for. This isn't something people go to the grocery store and go, leukemia sounds, leukemia, that's expensive. Let me go for the thyroid. No, I didn't ask for this. Yeah, there's a lot of worse cancers out there, but, there's a lot of bad shit out there, but this is happening to me now, and it's real for me. So I'm not going to keep justifying that I'm less valued because my cancer isn't as bad as like someone else's. Pain is pain, right? I don't like the way that the hospital, even if, like I said, even if someone had just said, we found research saying that putting people in solitary or quarantining people after having this radiation is just kind of an overkill over necessity that we used to do before we had a lot more facts about it. Now it's routine standard practice that everyone is doing, or most hospitals are doing now, because we found that the traces of radiation is so minor. We do recommend the following steps. That would have been a better answer. But to tell someone to go into a hospital or into a hotel because you don't want to contaminate your family, that's what I have to say about that. And like my mom, I know she loves me. I know she's got a lot on her plate, and I'm sorry, and I feel very disrespectful talking shit about her. But it's definitely like hurtful when someone tells you, as a cancer patient, because I chose to go on vacation and I want to be there for you, can you move your treatment that will make you better at my convenience? That's how I hear it, and that's how it comes across, even if she didn't mean it that way. It's just, it hurt my feelings. And it hurts my feeling, and it's like, sometimes when you're sick, the person you want is your mom. But I haven't been able to use my mom. And the other person who I want, who I know would have understood how I feel, is my grandmother, and I don't have her. I'm lucky I have a great husband, and I'm happy that, like, he's great for the most part. But there's just something, like, he doesn't really fully get either. Like, he doesn't have that he doesn't, he also, you know, grew up in a house where, like, tears were used as manipulation, where I don't cry that often, except on YouTube, apparently, with this whole thing, but, like, I don't, that's not typical of me, so I know when I cry, it's like he kind of goes into defensive mode about it, thinking I'm trying to manipulate something, when it's just like, no, I might come across as tough, and, like, I got my shit together, and for the most part I do, but I'm human, and I cry when I'm upset. And so I think he just takes it like I'm trying to, like, manipulate him, or trying to, like, manipulate people into thinking, or not people, because it's like I'm talking to you guys and I'm talking to my husband, but it's like he thinks I'm, like, trying to manipulate him into, like, taking my side about, like, being upset with my mom, or, you know, being upset with something, or being upset that the fact that, like, I have to do radiation, or, I mean, it's not like I'm not mad at anybody. Like, I totally understand. I'm a little disappointed. You know, I thought I would have a little bit more support than what I'm feel like I've been getting, but I haven't, like, accused him, or and I haven't, like, tried to, like, accuse my mom even of, like, being a bad mom, or being a bad husband, or being a bad friends, but it's just, like, all my friends who I've even, like, told, like, that I've had cancer, and, or that I was, gonna get results, and, like, some of them that I've been updating haven't texted me, haven't, like, asked me how I'm doing. It's kind of, like, as of lately, I just feel really, like, alone. And maybe it's because I don't bitch on Facebook. Like, maybe it's because I don't really, like, show all too often, like, the vulnerability side of me. And I think it's just, like, because that's how I am. Like, when I found out one of my friends had cancer, I didn't ask her what it was. I didn't ask her all the personal questions. But I did send cards. I sent her text messages randomly throughout the weeks, and just sending positive quotes, and, you know, sent physical cards in the mail. Not that I expected the same thing from that person, because, like, I don't do things to get things back, because that's not, like, then you might as well not send things, because, like, you don't do things to get back, you know. But I would have expected, like, people to have reached out, or asked me how I'm doing, or especially, like, close friends. Just kind of makes me, like, feel like fuck everybody, to be honest. But on a positive note, I'm gonna, you know, I have a 98% survival rate, and I'm gonna kick, you know, cancer's ass. And I feel pretty good for the most part. I guess I have an excuse to get out of Thanksgiving. It sounds terrible. School's almost done from the semester, and I'm doing pretty good in my classes. Alright, guys. Phone's gonna die, so talk to you guys later. Bye. Happy Thanksgiving.